Last time on Reforged.
Ahoy there!
Sleep.
All right, everyone, watch out for those arrows.
What arrows? Oh!
They're shooting shatter arrows. We're gonna have to take this down below.
Or we can take the fight to the arrows.
No, I think we should go down the stairs.
Perhaps Windbreaker and I can stay here to buy you all some time. Then the rest of you get down below deck and fortify the galley hall.
This isn't about buying time. We're going to win, and I'm not going to sacrifice two of my best men for that. I would like to remind you that these seem to be powerful mages as well as warriors. I think we could set a trap in the mess hall.
Hide behind your steel wall. Death will not spare you.
He flinches backwards, and like the tip of his shield comes off the ground a little bit, and over his shoulder you actually see the tip of a crossbow.
So what I'm gonna do is summon Unseen Servant, and I'm gonna put him in front of the marksman.
Kablam! Whoa, what did Coral teach these guys? All right, here we go. And Elfman in the back like goes up in flames.
Thank you for the light, Sparkles.
This dragonborn steps down onto the final step and looks over all of you, and he stretches out one of his hands holding this battle axe, and your friends are all enveloped in darkness. Hey everyone, I'm Austin.
I'm Ian.
I'm Zoe.
And I'm Ty.
Thanks for tuning in to Reforged Podcast, Episode 5. All right, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Reforged. We're here again in the Kindred Saga, and I'm with the three best members of the Buunch.
The
The Buunch.
Back in the fray.
The Buunch man.
And in case you forgot who those are, we have Hugs.
So I'm Ian Early, and I play Hugs, the Goliath Barbarian.
And Talvar.
Hi, I'm Ty. I play Talvar.
And Pippi Farewell.
Hi, I'm Zoe, and I play Pippi.
And so we're back. And first thing, a little bit of cleanup from last time. I have decided to change the appearance of this dragonborn.
Ooh.
Uh-oh. Retcon.
It's like a Skyrim character being created
Yeah.
before our eyes.
Shoot.
I've seen some stuff.
Just very painful
Yes.
to watch.
I know. I decided to change it mostly for flavor, but instead of him being a red dragonborn, he actually has these like kind of dusty gray-white scales, but the end of each scale is outlined in the kind of like black.
Nice. That's neat.
He's a complicated dude now.
Yep.
Yeah, now he's all emo and stuff.
He's cool. Jeez, now I'm scared.
That's right. This is a
Before
real
he was
dude.
just a big target.
Yeah, no.
And to reset the scene, he is dual wielding these great axes and is standing before Hugs. And he has reached up with one of these great axes and drowned the room in darkness. The only one outside of that darkness currently is Hugs. And I guess Zephyr as well. And there's these two like roguish characters that popped up, like the prairie dogs.
Right, the prairie dogs.
Yeah. And one of those is an archer and then like a melee character there.
Nice.
You see this dragonborn start chuckling, like a deep guttural chuckle comes out of his chest, and he's laughing at you, Hugs.
I like it.
So this dragonborn, he speaks up. He says,
Well, you're certainly an interesting bunch. A lot more capable
It's
than I took you
Buunch.
for.
I'm sorry to... I don't know where you are, but anyway, I sink back into the darkness.
I just like hearing Pippi's voice out of there. It's just like, it's Buunch. Or whatever. I bastardized
Get it
Pippi's
right.
voice.
Thank
whatever.
you. Goodbye.
Yeah, there you go.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I believe you're bad at counting, for there's only one of us here.
Even though you just heard Pippi's voice.
That's right.
Yeah.
Hugs is gonna glance around like he's trying to bluff him.
There's nobody else here, you fool.
Are you trying to bluff?
Very poorly.
Deception.
A 4.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is a good start. He chuckles some more and he says,
Well, even though you might not be the brightest person, you certainly are strong. Now, listen.
Hugs like puffs his chest out. Yes.
It would certainly be a shame to throw away your life at the bite of my axes. Why don't you come to our side?
You believe I would waste my life on your axe? How about you waste yours on mine? And he'll charge him.
Oh, shoot!
All right, Hugs, roll your attack.
Yes. An 11.
All right. You run up with your silver great axe, is it right? And you swing it down straight towards his skull, and man, it gets an inch away, but he actually crosses his axes and blocks it squarely. The strength behind this dude is impressive.
I am impressed.
Yep, he blocks it squarely.
Considering how strong
Good
Mr.
reaction.
Hugs is, that's...
Hugs looks
Yep.
down and smirks. He's like, finally, someone on the opposing side who can actually fight.
Well, that's because I've been trained by the best, Pontifex Ramil.
I'm not gonna remember that name.
I don't think you understand the situation you're in. You're quite surrounded, my friend.
Yes, the darkness behind me, your prairie dogs on the left and right, but the only one I care about is you.
You actually see out of the corner of your eyes what would almost be described as the fluttering of a cloth, and then you realize there's another person there.
Oh, perhaps I was mistaken.
And as you take a closer look around, you see people basically stepping out of nowhere.
More prairie dogs.
So more people are stepping onto the boat, but we can't see them. We're just...
Oh, they're like stepping out of the shadows, basically.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
It does seem like shadow almost like is peeled off of them, revealing them in their place.
Interesting. That's cool. Okay.
And so in total, you have another 6 people that show up.
Even odds. Let's do this.
Wowee.
The majority of them are human.
4 humans?
4 humans, a full-blooded elf, and an orc. These people have just popped up, and that's essentially kind of the end of Hug's turn. Zephyr is immediately in combat with a few of these guys. He's barely holding his own off, and he's got 2 people squaring off against him and a third shooting arrows towards him. And so basically he's on maximum defense, and you still see him taking arrows. Next up will be Talvar.
So I'm going to run out and do a spinning attack at the first enemy I see.
All right. So you're going to roll a percentile check to see which direction you randomly come out of this orb.
That's a 7.
You just run out of this cloud of darkness, and then you realize that you're facing the back of the room at first. Oh, and you turn, and there is an elf there with a bow that is not too far from you.
Well, then I want to do a quick run and spin attack at him.
All right, yeah, you heel pivot and take off towards this.
Oh, my bad.
Yep.
Whoops.
Go ahead and make an attack.
So that would be a 19.
That'll hit it. Go ahead and roll damage.
Okay. 22 damage.
Okay.
Holy
Nearly
goodness.
a perfect hit.
Yeah, so, I mean,
Nice job, Talvar. Oh, my goodness.
you start just spinning, and the leather armor on this elf is just flayed apart, and there's just blood dripping down your blades. The elf seems to be holding his ground.
Oh, damn.
All these people still have that strange gray skin and eyes that are kind of a little bit hollow looking. And yeah, he stares into your face with that kind of creepy expression. Yeah.
That's actually kind of scary.
No thanks.
'Cause, I was literally 1 damage off from a perfect hit.
Yeah. Pippi, you are up.
Well, it looks like everybody needs some inspiration.
Oh.
We're going to do Bardic Inspiration.
All right, so who do you want to inspiration?
Oh, shoot. I can't see anybody.
You can.
So I'm going to give it to, honestly, she would probably give it to Captain Ivory. I don't know where she is, but.
Okay.
Captain Ivy's just down below deck like, catchy tune.
So wait, you're still in the darkness? Like you didn't leave it?
No, I'm still in the darkness.
Oh.
I can use my move to get out of the darkness, can't I? Or is this all?
Yeah, so you can still cast a spell.
Can I hammer time out of the darkness?
Sure.
I can do that.
All right, do it.
I did.
Cool,
And
you
I
did
will.
it.
I done
Well
did
done,
it, son.
D&Ders.
Would you like to cast another spell?
Heck yeah, I'd like to cast another spell. What can I see?
At this point, I would say you moonwalked out on probably Talvar's side.
On Talvar's side?
Yep, so there is a human with a greatsword, an elf with a bow, and an orc with a flail that he's spinning around.
So I'm going to get... The elf is right there. I can see that one, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
You can
so-
see Talvar dripping with this elf's blood.
I'm gonna slash the elf. I'll be like, I'll help you out, Talvar.
Okay.
So, 15.
Okay, that will hit this elf.
Good. I want to slash its back of its leg.
Go ahead, roll your damage.
I did 5 damage.
All right.
Thank you.
So
Keeping it
you
honest.
actually you see like this elf continue to grimace in Talvar's face, and then it just falls to one knee and then just falls over.
Ah, yes.
Oh, that scared me immensely because he has more health than I. Like the hit I did would have killed me. Like actually killed me. No redemption whatsoever. Scares me.
That's horrifying. Okay. Yeah, no, that's horrifying.
All right. These new warriors seem to be in like a great concert. Like they're ready to fight, and they've kind of got this strategy legitimately down.
Oh,
So,
God.
Hugs, you're still reeling from being like forced backwards, and Zephyr seems to be taking like a brunt of their attacks currently. Like he has 3 people that are currently shooting at him. All right, so he's only hit by, he dodges an arrow, dodges another swing, and then he gets just a dagger straight to the chest.
Oof.
And he did.
And he did. Oh, actually, yeah, you see Zephyr just crumple to the ground.
Oh God.
Oh my God, Zephyr.
And those 3 turn their attention to the rest of you. This human with a greatsword, Hugs, runs over and tries to stab at you.
How
Wow.
about you?
Oh yeah, he definitely hits.
All right.
Woof. 8 damage.
Nothing.
Oh, that's everything.
Oh God. I could take literally 2 of those before I was unconscious.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm right there with you, buddy.
That's right.
And the orc is charging over Talvar. Your AC?
15.
Yep.
Oh God.
Oh boy.
Good night, sweet prince.
Oh, that's okay. He cracks you in the face for 6 damage.
Oh, that's okay.
Ooh, that's great. Thank goodness, right? Wow.
I'm only down to 10 now. It's okay.
That's when suddenly all of you guys have this faint light that springs up around you. And all of you are glittering with this shimmering shield, and the darkness is dispelled, and there's a brilliant beacon of this bright, bright light coming off of Captain Ivory. And she has cast Holy Aura. If any of you want to make an Arcana check, you're more than welcome to.
Hugs will do no such thing.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right.
I'll do an Arcana check.
Sure.
9.
Hey,
Even.
that's
right.
exactly what I rolled.
You basically don't know much about the spell, but you know it's more powerful than any cleric you've met before.
I'm going to have to ask her about that later.
Yeah, and so this darkness is dispelled. Gallitrix and Windbreaker actually can see things again, and they charge into battle. Hugs, you're up.
Hugs will be looking at the dragonborn guy and the human greatsword wielder, but then also look over towards the downed Sparkles, and he'll try and grapple the human greatsword guy.
Okay.
And with his move action, push him all the way back over to where Sparkles is.
Oh, you're gonna try to bulldoze the other people or something?
Basically,
Okay,
yeah.
let's give it a shot.
And Hugs is now raging, seeing his friend go down. And that is a 21 on the athletics check.
You grapple him.
All right. So then I'll move all the way through there and over to where Zephyr has been downed, push the guy off and try and knock him prone, and then just stand over Zephyr.
All right, so the human with a bow dodges to the side, and the dude with the sword kind of backs up behind Zephyr. But there is this guy with the dagger that has basically just pulled it out of his chest, and he turns around and sees you carrying this guy towards him. So make an attack, I guess, against the dude with the dagger, and you're going to swing this other guy against him.
It'd be 14.
14 total? Okay, so, I mean, you throw this dude against his friend, and the dagger dude actually kind of catches his friend, but they don't seem to take any significant damage, but it seems to do enough to keep them from moving. Zephyr is going to roll a death saving throw.
Oh God.
You see him start hemorrhaging blood.
Oh no! Hold on, Sparkles!
Shoot!
Well, he still has 2 more chances.
Oh my God.
All right,
Where is
Talvar.
Sunny?
I'm going to try and run around behind the dagger guy and do another spinning attack on him.
Oh, so you're going to cut across towards Zephyr.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good.
13.
Nope. Well, no, I think it's okay because this dagger dude just caught his friend. So
Yeah.
I think that's fine. I think he's going to be flat-footed, which removes his dexterity bonus.
That might be the saying of the podcast. That's fine. That's probably fine.
That's probably good.
That's good.
I'm not too lax.
No, I like it. I like it a lot.
18 damage.
18?
Yeah.
All right.
The
So
spinning attack is with 2 weapons. That's why it does so much.
Hugs, you throw this greatsword dude into this dagger guy. The dagger dude staggers back and is holding his friend upwards, and then all of a sudden that's when you see just like almost like a metal tornado or something behind him, and these blades start digging into his back.
Nice.
And it's pretty gory, but he holds himself up.
Oh, wow.
Pippi.
I'm gonna start calling you Blinda.
Oh, my God. How'd you get that name? Oh, you don't want to know. Well, geez, I should probably go heal you, Zephyr. How do you feel about that, buddy?
Basically all you would
I'm
hear.
patting him on the head, and I'm going to cast Cure Wounds. I'm going to roll a D8 because I am touching him, and that's the range.
Yeah.
12. I'm going to heal him for 12
All right.
because I'm very good
So
at healing.
Very good.
Very good. My confidence is at an all-time high.
So yeah, this wound that was gushing blood heals over, and his eyes flicker open, and he just sees little Pippi above him. Whoa, hey, thanks, thanks for that.
You're very welcome, friend.
What happened?
You almost died.
You took
Get
a
up and
dagger to
fight.
the chest.
All right, so the greatsword dude just gets up. The dagger guy spins around and stabs at Talvar.
Oh God.
That was almost a crit.
Oh God.
Talvar, you take 3 damage.
Oh God.
Oh my gosh, you got off real easy on that, bud.
So Pippi, you lean down to heal Zephyr, and you look up and you see this human has his bow trained on you, and he lets an arrow fly.
Whoops.
Whoops.
Da-da-da-da-da. Pippi's dead.
That's all she wrote.
That's all she wrote.
Pippi, that's 7 damage.
I'm gonna throw up
accent.
blood all over this fool.
You just heal him and then you're like,
Oh, you're so.
Yeah.
I'm dead. No, it's fine.
go, buddy.
I still have, I'm okay. I'm holding in there, everybody.
And you hear Windbreaker like roar on the other side of the room, and he has the orc with the flail like by the throat.
Yes.
And this orc is just growling and spitting. And that's when you see like Sunny just kind of walk up, like almost kind of confidently stride and reach out and touch it. And you see like this black necrosis start to spread out from this, like her touch. And she says, "Take this, you son of a bitch." Sunny walks up and casts harm on this dude and deals 46 damage.
Nice.
And like you actually, like this black spreads across his body super fast, and he just kind of like crumples and shrivels and falls to the ground.
that is terrifying.
Good job, Sonny.
Hugs, you hear like a loud ching behind your back, and then you see like a piece of metal like bounce across the floor. And the dragonborn with the great swords was swinging down at you, and Captain Ivory has blocked with her rapier, which broke.
Great axe.
And she's standing there without a weapon.
Very well. I like offer the great axe to Captain Ivory.
Oh, sure. And she takes that in stride and just lobs into this dude.
Yes.
So
Oh,
basically,
nice.
she blocks, grabs his axe, and swings.
I expect nothing less. That's amazing.
So, and he kind of does that same thing where he throws up his great axes in a blocking stance, and Captain Ivory actually manages to like shove his arms back a little bit, and the axe embeds in his plate mail. But doesn't actually draw blood yet. Hugs, you're up.
Hugs will will attempt a grapple check on the greatsword wielder again.
Okay.
Rolled a 19 for that advantage, so that's a 26.
Yeah, you get him again. He's
All
like,
right.
oh no.
All right. Hugs is going to attempt to disarm him from his greatsword.
Okay.
Ooh.
And basically say, like, why don't you come down to my level? Or I guess come up. I don't know.
He thinks for a second.
Yeah. He says as he's holding this guy. And I'm basically going to attempt to disarm him. So I'm going to attempt another athletics check. And this
By
will be
that
my
mean,
action.
do you mean rip off his arms?
I can, can I try and break one of
Don't
his
rip
arms?
off his
Yeah.
arms,
All right, I'm
Hugs.
going to try and break one of his arms.
How's
Do I
it
just do an
gonna
attack
hurt?
or should I make another athletics check?
I'm just gonna call it a super grapple. Yeah,
All right.
another athletics.
19 total.
Yep.
So basically, Hugs like grabs hold of this guy and like reaches down to his wrist that's holding the greatsword at, and he's basically just, why don't you come down to my level? And right as the guy's like, wait, that doesn't make any. Hugs' knee comes up, and the guy's arm bends the other way.
Oh,
Oh, like
And
those videos.
I assume the greatsword clatters to the ground.
yeah. He
right.
drops his greatsword and he's yelling in pain.
Yes. All right.
Oh,
That's
God.
my turn.
That's your turn. All right. Yeah, Zephyr bounces to his feet and plunges a dagger towards the guy who had stabbed him to death.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that is enough. So Zephyr sinks this dagger into the guy who had just attacked Halvar, and he goes limp and falls to the ground.
I just smile as he falls.
Well done.
That's what he gets for ruining my outfit.
You still look great, though. Don't worry.
Thank you. And he flishes his cape a little bit.
That sparkles.
Talvar.
All right, I'm going to turn to the archer and do a double attack.
All right. So the meat grinder continues.
Yes.
No, this one isn't a spin.
Oh.
I'm actually going to just
Like
attack and
plunge
punch.
both in his chest?
Yeah.
All right.
All right, so the first one's a 20, and the second one's a 10. So I'm guessing only the first one
Yeah,
hits.
only the first one hits.
8 damage.
All right. So, yep, you manage, like, one of your blades kind of scrapes off this armor, and he's wearing this, like, bone plate as well.
Okay.
Most of them are. It's the dragonborn who's got, like, a black variation that seems a lot stronger. And then your second one manages to crack and plunge through and deals significant damage and staggers the bow guy back.
Cool.
Pippi.
Nice.
Jeez, that was hardcore. I'm gonna do hideous laughter.
Ooh, Tasha's hideous laughter.
Tasha's hideous laughter.
Okay, and who would you like to do it on?
I would like to do it to the dragonborn, gentlemen.
This
It's
will be
gonna
quite
be great.
hilarious if it works. So he'll make a saving throw. You don't need to roll anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, you get a pretty good chuckle out of him, but it seems like he manages to maintain composure.
So he's like,
Hey, why did the
arm
ball?
broke.
What? Hold on, everybody. I'm gonna say a joke.
Oh.
What?
Bam, bam.
What? The
what?
the batter was wondering why the ball was getting bigger, and then it hit him.
I see why he saved.
You hear the human with a sword who's been untouched, and he's like,
And that's my whole turn, I guess, because that took a whole minute to concentrate.
Oh, that's the
it's
duration
6
of the spell
seconds
is
to
up to a
cost
minute.
it.
Oh, so he's gonna be chuckling like nonchalantly
he
for a
beat
full
it,
minute.
so he won't be chuckling.
he
at
managed
all.
to beat it,
Yeah.
but you still made him laugh.
It was a good joke, though.
That was a good
I
joke.
spent like a whole week coming up with that one. I butchered that delivery.
But I'll give you this, Pippi. You're close enough. So you guys are surrounded with the super bright light, and so it's kind of like it's occluded your vision a little bit. But you see that the human with the greatsword that has now a broken hand or arm,
Yeah.
he has a star floating around him, like the elk people. And the light is a lot brighter than the star is, but you can definitely see it floating around.
Oh shoot, that's the human?
Yeah.
Yep.
The one who Hugs just broke the arm of.
Oh. Wait. Wait a minute. It's one of my dudes.
Pardon?
He's got a little star dude on his shoulder. That's one of my dudes.
Yes?
Yeah, don't. Don't kill him. Even just knock him out. Hit him in the head or something.
Very well. I've already broken his arm. I think he's out of this fight, so.
Fair enough.
He's still
That's
got his
fine.
other arm.
All right, just don't kill him.
This is when the halfling rogue that was kind of, prairie dog, it charges off towards, I think, Hugs, and he plunges a little tiny dagger into your back. This dagger is actually made of that hollow bone material, and as soon as he plunges in, you feel a surge of blood just get ripped out the back of your body onto the ground, and you take 5 damage. Hugs still doing okay?
Hugs is like, I think I just peed myself a little. Oh, wait, never mind. It's just my blood.
I think I just peed some blood.
Something's
warm.
Yeah, Hugs is still above half HP, so.
All right.
Hugs is a super tank.
brag
about
I'm actually below half health.
No,
So.
I would have been even better if I had been raging when I got hit the first time.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
Yeah.
This is why you're our tank cops.
That's right.
We wouldn't be able to do this.
The human archer, the other prairie dog, shoots an arrow towards Sunny, and she takes an arrow straight to the back as well, and you kind of see the similar
Wait, the
thing.
one I'm standing right next to?
No.
Oh.
This is the... I have like the prairie dog people.
yeah,
You're still standing in front of a bowman.
nice.
And with your spinning death in front of him, he throws down his bow and reaches for a little short sword and swings it at you.
Okay. I'm dead, aren't I?
Yeah, you're dead.
Oh, God!
You take 8 damage.
Oh, right. I am unconscious with -1 hit points.
Oh,
Blender!
no.
So I'm actually dying.
Blender done got blended. I'll run over to him next.
So, and the human swordsman is like squaring off with Zephyr some more. And Zephyr's not going to take that shit this time.
Yeah.
And dodges it. And then the human with the greatsword like has stopped yelling at this point and struggles to get up. And tries to throw a punch at you
All right.
Oh, man.
with his good hand.
They're really
Alright.
going to town on this dude.
Does a 14 hit?
Well, that ties.
And Ty goes to defender, right?
Oh, okay. All right. So, yeah.
Nice.
Basically, Hugs will just be like, slap. Slap his arm away. It's like,
And-
don't make me break your good one.
And let's
This
see.
poor guy.
Captain Ivory and the Dragonborn are fighting, and they seem to be at a pretty good stalemate until the Dragonborn like blocks with one great axe and then gets Ivory in the side with the other.
Oh, God.
I was going to heal Talvar.
And Ivory takes 9 damage, and you see her awesome like white robes start to bleed and stain, and so this Dragonborn rips that great axe back out of her side, and you see he stops for a second as if he's like listening to someone. He yells out over everyone,
All right, everyone, it looks like we're done here.
and he takes a step back and starts striding up the stairs nonchalantly. And everyone else looks around confused. And the helping archer easily dodges past everyone. The halfling rogue tries to make a move to get past Talvar.
I'm unconscious.
Okay, so he just steps over Talvar,
On Talvar.
and the bowman does too. So you're left with a struggling greatsword dude that's like, oh God, let me go. Let me go, please.
Hugs is gonna like watch them leave, and he's gonna look back at this like other dude. Probably just kind of push him down and like pick up the greatsword that he wrestled from him, basically, and then just shout after these people and just be like, "You would turn tail when there's still a fight to be had? You have no honor, and I can't allow this." And he'll charge towards them.
Okay. So the Dragonborn's probably in first, so
Yeah.
you can attack any of the other ones. Let's say you're going for the bowman that took down Talvar.
Sure. 18.
Yep.
For 8 damage.
All right. He goes down to a knee from the sudden blow, and everyone seems to just leave him behind. And they keep walking up the stairs, and you hear the Dragonborn,
There's no honor in killing an opponent that can't defend themselves.
and he walks away.
Oh.
And
He's kind of right.
Oh. Hugs is probably charging up after him.
okay, what about all these other guys?
He'll probably barrel through them and try and get to the Dragonborn.
Okay. Go ahead and make a bull rush check.
21.
All right, sure, you get to do it. So, and we'll get back to that just real
All right.
quick. Sunny runs over to Captain Ivory and like slides her hand over the wound, and it closes, and she
Talvar's
keeps
just
running
twitching
towards
on the
Talvar. Yeah, and Sunny like slides to a halt and reaches down and touches Talvar, and you can see genuine like concern until you start to move, and then she seems okay. You're healed back to 1 hit point.
Whew, thank goodness. I was all out of spell slots.
Yeah, pretty much just use spare the dying, but you can come back awake at this point.
Okay.
I'm gonna let that be.
Oh, man. I want to go check on my elk guy. I want to go check on my elk guy.
All right.
With the pixie on his shoulder, with the sprite on his shoulder.
Sure. He's desperately trying to stand up and run towards his compatriots.
Okay. I'm gonna minor illusion sprite on my shoulder,
Okay.
and then I'll be like, whoa, hold on there, buddy. No, you don't want to go over there with them. You're with elk folk now. We're buddies. We're family. And I just kind of soothe them down. I want to soothe them down.
And he's cradling his broken arm, and he's like,
And I'm cradling him.
Slides over and wraps her arms around him. She's like, it's okay.
Yeah, come on, it's all right. I can't stand to see my family sad.
What's your name? What's your
What's
backstory?
your name?
Yeah.
Who are your parents? I might know your parents. Are you
All right.
Edgar's kid? Like
I would like you to roll a,
persuasion.
I guess,
Perception?
yeah, persuasion.
Persuasion. 20 plus
Boys,
5.
natural 20.
What?
I'm cradling the shit out of this boy.
Nice.
Ting, ting. Amble hit.
All right. This is important, so let me decide on
What's
it.
your name? What's your name, soldier?
My name is Simon.
Simon.
Uh-huh.
There's no need to worry. We're all friends here. Now just tell me what's going on here. Why'd you attack our ship? What are you doing with that dragonborn piece of garbage?
Those are my family, regardless of what you say.
Oh. How, though? And I'm stroking his hair.
Yeah. Those are... You don't know who they are?
No.
We're members of the Serpent Clan.
Oh. Oh. Well, where'd you get this sprite from?
Well...
She's suddenly angry.
Well, where the...
Now it's an intimidate check.
I stopped stroking his head.
No, and he says, I was born in Snowdrift.
Oh.
Which is the town you were born in.
I know that town.
I would hope so. It's the only
I
one.
grew up in that town. Well, then you know... Well, why are you hanging out with these serpent fellows? What's going on there?
He says there's a lot going on. I need to go.
We got a whole lot of time, and I kind of forcefully.
Oh, we got all the time.
We got all the time in the world. My pixie turns red.
Yeah. Okay. And he screeches out, and he says, "Aurelis, Aurelis."
Aurelis.
As Hugs, you're running towards the dragonborn. You just hear him go, and keeps walking up the stairs.
That's his name.
Aurelis! Yo, I'm writing this down! Okay, so it's Aurelis. Is that his name? Is that your leader's name?
And it looks like Simon's done talking for a second.
Oh, it's
and
okay.
He looks pretty dejected that he's being left here in the hands of his enemies.
Oh, they're not much of a family, are they?
All right, Hugs, go ahead and make an attack or a grapple against Aurelis.
He'll probably try to tackle him.
Okay. Go ahead.
23.
Okay. Whoa, 23, huh?
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, you jump up and kind of tackle this guy, and he does kind of like fall forward and hit the stairs with his knee, and then he grabs you by... Do you wear a shirt?
Nope.
All right.
You have pelts, though, don't you?
Yeah.
What's that?
You have pelts?
Yeah.
Or
Not
just
right,
a ton
right now
of
it's basically
dreadlocks?
just like all on the lower half. Like
Oh, gotcha.
Waist down.
Okay.
currently
Oh.
clothed.
So this like big scaly claw wraps around your like kind of the joint to your elbow or your shoulder, and he clamps down and he starts to stand back up.
Bring it.
Everyone is awake at this point. Hugs is going to be dragged upstairs, maybe.
I want to fire the bone arrow that I stole from the other guy at the dragonborn.
All right, you might risk hitting Hugs at this point.
Don't fail, yo!
You will have disadvantage because these guys are technically in a melee grapple.
Oh, never mind then, because I will hit Hugs.
All right, you do
I know me too well.
The human with the bow who knocked you out, like Hugs had attacked and then ran by, and so that guy's getting back up and he's kind of trailing behind.
I guess I'll shoot him with the arrow, because I want to see what it does, and I don't care to let them live.
All right, go ahead.
23.
All right, yeah, your arrow plants. Roll a d6
6.
plus another d6.
1.
All right, that's enough to kill this guy. So you see this arrow shoot and hit, like, I guess his lung. And yeah, you see, like, this arrow quickly swell with blood, and it just starts pouring down the back as if it is pulling it
bleed a
out.
lot.
This arrow's designed to pull out blood, too.
Yeah, these weapons do.
Yeah.
Did one of you pick up a bone sword? I can't remember.
I picked up the greatsword that the guy was using.
Oh, and you had swung that, right?
Yeah.
So that's what you have right now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess so.
Okay. So you can see that, like, it's actually grows heavy with how much, like, blood has been soaked into it, like a sponge almost.
Oh.
That's sick.
Neat.
Yeah.
In every sense of the word.
Like it. I
a
will
good
drink
sword.
the blood of my enemies.
Don't lick your sword.
Zephyr's making sure that everyone in here is actually dead. He's checking bodies, kicking people. Seems like everyone's dead.
Good.
And Ivory says, do not let those people leave.
I've got this.
As you're getting carried
I
out.
know, right?
Yeah. Pippi, you're up.
I mean, I'm done asking this guy questions. Can I just bonk him on the head with the hilt of my short sword and join the group?
Sure.
Just try to knock him out
Yeah.
so we don't have to deal with this fool?
Yeah.
I'm going to re-roll that.
It's okay.
I
As
mean-
long as it's not a nat one, I will let you knock this guy out.
Okay.
Hey.
Well,
Yeah.
It's fine.
It's okay.
It's fine. It's fine.
I don't want to spend 10 turns
That's
having...
right.
Pippi's just sitting there, bonk, 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 bonk.
His hair is so thick. deck. Okay.
Uses a lot of moisture.
Guys sitting there crying in their arms, like holding this.
His pixie's like trying to hit me, but it doesn't do. I'm like, just knock out.
All right.
I knock him out then.
Okay. Hugs, let's make another grapple check.
Okay. 22.
22, huh?
Yep.
All right. So, I mean, I guess you're like still kind of holding on to him, I guess. And so you guys are still officially grappled, but he manages to stand up and just basically brute forces his way to the top of the deck. Yeah, so basically the entire time you're like wrestling him, he's walking through the weapons room, and you see more people kind of around the shadows, and they're kind of funneling up. There's a lot of people on this boat right now.
God.
And you are pulled to the top of the deck, and Aurelis shakes you off and throws you to the ground.
Oh, shoot.
So, I mean, you could probably maintain standing, I guess.
Right.
Maybe I'll describe what's up there in just a second.
All right.
The rest of you, is there anything you need to do down here?
Well, I just want to go back up where the action is. I saw
Yeah.
Hugs get thrown.
You just hear Hugs being like,
So I want to go up there then.
Yeah.
All right.
Join the action.
I'd do it too.
Yeah.
My limping, hobbling self.
Yeah. And not that Hugs is like
So hurt.
weak in this situation. He
Right.
probably would mangle a normal person pretty easily. If I mean, Aurelis probably has like one of those skulls on his head.
Yeah.
That says like, you know,
Wait,
high
guys, let's
level.
not fight this guy.
yeah.
Hugs his pride won't let him.
And all of you get to the top of the ship. And when you had left, there were nets that were attached to these 7 different boats that were around. And you see off into the distance across the bow, there is like a fleet of boats, probably like 15 or so. And they're in a large circle, and their nets are cast towards the water. And not only that, but inside these nets, there is something being dragged through the water.
Oh, God.
And when all of you see it, there is like a surreal moment that hits you and stuns you all in your place, including Zephyr.
Are the engines almost recharged?
Do you remember back in Polestar Castle when all of you had a sudden pang of sadness and all dropped your spoon simultaneously?
Yes.
That returns, and you realize it's because whatever they're dragging. And in the water, you see this bloody, mangled figure. It looks kind of like a bird. There are feathers and going in every direction, and it probably has what you would assume to be about 4 wings. Talfar, it kind of reminds you of like a dove back in the Foxland that was mangled by a fox. Like it looks like that. Bones are broken in weird directions, and you can see too that like its chest is exposed and like its heart's been ripped out forcibly.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
the eagle thing.
That's a good...
And you
Jeez.
guys are pretty devastated. It doesn't look necessarily like a big eagle or anything like that. It's kind of got a slightly more humanoid shape.
It's
I
still the
guess.
It's a
eagle
sphinx.
thing.
Kind of. And it is most certainly dead. And it is tied up in these nets, and it's being manhandled as it's being dragged across.
Jeez. I shoot a glare at my elk friend. Like, you guys,
He's
what are
still
you
down
doing?
there unconscious.
Yeah.
I
You're
still shoot
upstairs
it.
now.
I'm shooting daggers at him with my looks
Through the stair or through the floor.
through the floor. Like,
Yeah.
you.
And one of the larger ships in the front, you see a figure standing there. All of you can roll a perception check.
Oh, God. Ha! Nat 1.
That one. Oh,
15?
nice. I'm like crying a little bit. Like, honestly, I'm a very small little girl.
No, you guys are pretty devastated. And I think Hugs has just been up here just longer than you have to actually be able to kind of get over that initial shock. But standing on the bow of the ship, you see a full-blooded elf, and he's got the most gray skin and hollowed eyes out of any of them. And he has these long flowing black robes, and he actually has like cracks going across his face. Wow. And he lifts off the boat and just kind of levitates over to the Alabaster and sets down on the bow. And out of the corner of your eye too, you see Zephyr have like a moment of recognition, and then all hell breaks loose. Everyone on the Alabaster up top is filled with this glowing light, and Ivory is fighting people. I mean, everyone, like every time one of these serpent warriors tries to strike at someone with a light, like it flares up and kind of bounces off. And this wizard is casting some pretty nasty spells, and Ivory is trying to protect you guys. Gallitrix is having a hell of a time as well. It's up to you whether or not you maintain composure, but it's one of those scenes where it's kind of like There's a ringing in your ear. People are fighting around you, but you four are almost incapacitated at seeing this.
Jeez.
What would you like to do?
It's too important to fight to just be upset right now. So I'm going to suck it up and make a very mature decision and go start fighting fools.
I still need to know if the engines are recharged.
The person that would know that is probably Gallitrix, and you see him currently just like blasting shit all over the place.
Damn him. I'd actually run over and try to ask him, or limp over.
All right, let's, Pippi, go ahead and make your attack, and then Talvar, you get to ask your question to Gallitrix.
So what's close to me? I'll just attack the closest dude to me.
Sure.
I'm going to do my signature heel slashing technique. And then just slide on the ground. Ooh. 15.
All right, go ahead and roll your damage.
4.
All right.
4 damage.
So Pippi is running around, kind of like light tears running down her face, just like cutting at people's heels. Talvar, you managed to get up to Gallitrix, and he has just kind of countered this powerful spell that was cast at him. Because not only is there this main elf wizard kind of dude, but there's several others now that have kind of, they do that where they kind of flicker from the shadows onto the boat. Gallitrix, no, go ahead and ask your question to Gallitrix.
I need to know if the engines are charged.
And Gallitrix turns around and he's like, oh, you're right. That's actually a great idea. And he hands you this little orb, I guess. It's probably about the size of like an apple. And he puts it in your hand and he says, take that to the stern and overlook the wave maker and use that object. I think you'll know how. You're a wizard, right?
That's putting it kindly.
And that's when like a barrage of magic missiles just like slam into the side of him. And he flips around and his armor is starting to crack and break, and he's like, go, hurry, do it.
All right, I'll sprint straight for the side of the ship.
All right, so you start running towards the back where there's that thing. You hold it over the wave maker, which is what this thing is called. It's kind of a weird box that's actually attached to the back of the Alabaster. Looks like it doesn't belong there. Like it was kind of post-modded. And you'll get to try to use that in just a second. Hugs, you see Aurelis walk over and start talking to this other wizard. And they kind of nod, and then you see Aurelis start sliding down one of the ropes that initially got him on this boat.
Okay. Hugs will probably cut his way through the crowd to the point where Aurelis is like retreating to, and he'll probably just like,
it's been a while since I've met someone who could actually face me. Tell me your name, for I will train harder for the next time we meet. I will emerge victorious.
All right. And yeah, he gets to the bottom of the boat and he looks up, and remember there's this like green glowing light from Gallitrix's flare from a while. So it's like you're backlit by this green glow, and then you're saying this down to him, and he looks up and he says,
the name's Aurelis, and I will meet your challenge. Or perhaps you can join me.
His speech was way cooler.
that's right.
Well, he is smarter than Hugs.
That's right. Hugs wasn't in his metal mood that time. he's flustered because he got beat.
He's kind of, he's got to have like at least a little bit of just a ton of respect for this Aurelis character.
Oh, exactly. That's why I was like, not kill, because he wouldn't just say that, because he's just like, man, this is a really good warrior.
Yeah.
But yeah, Hugs just kind of chuckles and he's just like, till next time.
All right. And Aurelis actually nods and cuts this rope, and it slides and hits the side of the Alabaster, and his ship takes off into the dark. Not only is he doing that, but there's several others that seem to be leaving this ship at this point. And this dark elfin wizard actually levitates back off the boat and seems to be channeling something pretty damn nasty. And Sunny runs forward to kind of like meet him, and they have a staring contest that says one of us is probably going to die right now. Talvar. Actually, let's give it to Pippi real quick.
Okay.
Oh, whoa.
I know. Out of the initiative. Whoa.
I mean, so this elf fella is just summoning this just a ton of magic right now out of the water, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not gonna heal anyone because I have no spell slots. But I could do thunderclap.
All right.
I'll do thunderclap then.
All right.
And I don't need to do anything for that, right? Okay.
So as another of these individuals are just trying to get back on their own boat, Pippi runs up, thunderclaps, and he falls into the water.
Stop!
Oh, Pippi has got a Vengeance.
I got a vengeance. And it's rough.
All right, Talvar, you are over the wave maker, this box in the water, and you hold out this orb and you roll a use magic device Arcana check.
I rolled the thing trying to figure out how to make it actually work.
That's fine. What was your roll?
I rolled a nat 20. And what skill did it use?
All right, nat 20. And just like when you guys had departed from Saltport, the box on the back of this starts to glow that crazy red color. And you get the red and the green, and everyone's trying to figure out what's going on. And all of you kind of recognize that whining sound as it starts to build up. That sound that all of you had to latch onto different parts of the ship. All of you have 1 round before this boat takes off.
I'm going to brace myself against the railing on the very back of the ship.
All right.
So that whole situation with Sunny and Wizard Person.
It's
still going on.
Still going on.
So they have this look of one of us might die right now.
Mm-hmm.
Hugs will probably look over at this, and when he hears the sound coming up, he'll probably try and charge over and tackle Sunny out of the way, since the ship is leaving.
Can I see him doing that and then distract the wizard with a minor illusion?
You could try.
Because you're going to be saving Sunny, and I don't want that wizard to go after you. That'd be the
wizard's
worst.
still chanting something. He's preparing a huge spell.
Oh, okay. So he's like Hame Kame Khan over there.
Yeah.
Just doing his best. I'll stay out of this. This is Hugs' thing. He's going to do it.
All right.
So let's see. So I guess describe to me in more detail about what's happening between these two spellcasters.
All right. So Dark Elf Wizard is... And when I say dark elf, he's not like a drow.
Right.
He's an elf wizard, but he's got that gray skin, like I
Right.
said. He started casting something pretty big and pretty nasty at the ship, and that's when Sunny recognized it and kind of is moving into somehow deal with whatever's about to happen. So Sunny is looking up at him, and he's kind of looking down at her. And his attention is now on Sunny 100%.
Oh, she could be hurt by this. And he's just gonna pick her up and pull her back and brace her down on the deck and hover over her, kind of like what Windbreaker did with the Shatter Arrow stuff.
We're leaving. No need to sacrifice yourself.
She is just shouting profanities at you as soon as you knock her over and interrupt whatever spell she was starting to. And you even get a few punches into the face basically as she's trying to struggle to stand up.
That's right.
That's fine.
And this wizard lets out this wicked... It looks just sort of like this black ball that starts flying towards the ship, and that's when the wave maker takes off and your ship blasts forward.
Oh, nice. We made it.
Yeah. So Pippi, have you done anything to brace yourself?
No, I guess this whole time I was just contemplating whether or not to summon a bear, which in retrospect wasn't the best idea. I got distracted and now I'm dead.
So Talvar,
I'm like a feather.
you'll roll a strength, Talvar. Maybe.
Strength?
Yeah.
Jesus, mine is.
I might be dead then.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
Oh shoot. You're braced against the back.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll see.
11 minus 2, so 9.
Well, it's one better than me.
I got a 9, yo.
All right, Hugs, you're prone right now.
Pretty much.
With Sunny.
Yeah.
And so you guys slide across the ship like no one's business, and you feel several hands start to grab at you and people trying to catch you before you get
All right.
sent off the back of the ship. Go ahead and make an acrobatics check to try to help yourself while these people are helping you.
Is the rest of this going to be like an overboard situation?
New plan. Can I instead make an athletics to use that great sword that I had to dig it into the ship to drag it along to prevent myself from flying off?
It's just going to be
Yeah.
You'd have to roll pretty good. The Alabaster's hull is pretty strong.
I guess that's true.
Yeah.
You can't hold the hole.
I can hold the hole.
You can't do it.
All right.
So, but you may be able to stick it out kind of towards the railing and perhaps snag something. So it might just, as you're sliding back, it might be ripped out of your hand.
Okay.
That would be a
So
strength check,
there's-
though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, he's doing a strength.
All right. So strength. Hug still raging? Probably not. Probably not.
No, you had the smarts to
Yeah.
save them from
Yeah.
the magic.
All right. So yeah, 20 total.
Okay. So you actually manage to save Sunny's life and yourself, and you hold on. So Pippi, you're rolling down the back of the ship. Yeah.
It's really unfortunate.
And you're sliding by, and you and Zephyr get like just a couple inches apart, and he reaches out.
Oh my god. Oh my goodness.
And you miss each other.
Oh no!
Oh shoot.
And Zephyr, you can see a moment of like just pure hurt in his eyes when he realizes his halfling friend is dead. And you keep going, sliding down the ship.
Can I do something about this? I'm gonna do something about this, okay?
What are you going to do?
What I'm gonna do is use one of my scarves and try to like take one off and use it to. What are the railings like on this?
They're pretty flat,
Damn it.
but you got your scarf.
I do have my scarf.
Roll an acrobatics check with your scarf.
Okay, I'm just waving it around, praying that something good happens. Oh, I got a 9. Hold on.
Dexterity.
This is gonna be great. This is for my life. 11
Okay.
with my scarf.
You close your eyes and you start to pray hardcore.
I'm praying real hard to.
Would it be possible?
Avandra.
She'd be going by me, right?
You like the way the ship is moving, because like when it like jumps, like the bow is almost above the stern, so she would just like pew, straight off.
Oh my god.
So
Okay, never mind. I was going to
I'm
say,
just like,
would it be possible to like use my inspiration to throw her a rope or something? But
for more suspense, the rest of you see that the ship, like there were a few of the Serpent Clan ships that hadn't like cut the ropes yet, and you see like your ship, the Alabaster, took off so fast that those ropes were pulled taut, and like the ships were just flung into the air, and there's people going all over the place.
Oh man.
And all of them inevitably were like the drag from the water just ripped them off the bow. Pippi, you close your eyes and ready to embrace the sweet pull of death.
Oh jeez, oh jeez, oh
In the
jeez, oh
ocean.
jeez.
What does Pippi think in her final moments?
In her final moments, she's thinking, this can't be it. I'm only 14. And then I just close my eyes and just, come on, Captain Ivory. There's got to be at least a little bit of a chance that you'll save me, right? And I'm very afraid.
Hey guys, it's me, Austin, your DM. I wanted to step in here for a bit for this week's Artist Spotlight, but more importantly to say thank you. You guys are wonderful on social media, on Twitter. Your likes and subscribes, it really means the world to a small podcast like us. And I wanted to see what I could do for other small podcasts as well. And so I've got a few shout outs for Follow Friday. The first being Fate and the Fable Maidens. They have a crazy, fun, whimsical story. I think there are 4 episodes in now, so I'm all caught up and I can't wait for the next one. So please jump on over, check them out. You're going to love them. You can find them at Fate FM Cast on Twitter, and I will be posting their info in the show notes. Almost on a polar opposite side, we have a very creepy, ambient, prophetic story. It's pretty gripping, and all their episodes are about 30 minutes long, so it's perfect for a bite-sized, commute-long podcast. And they are the Broadswords. You can find them on Twitter at the Broadswords, and same, I'll post their info in the show notes. All right, so this third podcast, they've got more support. They're a little bit bigger than these other ones, but nonetheless, they still need love and they still need support because they're doing something very exciting. And this is the Adventure Zone. They released their new teaser trailer yesterday for season 2. I'm just so excited. So go ahead, jump on over, check it out. If you don't have the time to listen to the entire commitment arc, that's all right. Jump in, listen to Amnesty, listen to season 2. It's going to be wonderful. You can find them on Twitter at TheZoneCast, and I will also post their website in the show note. All right, on to the Artist Spotlight. You guys worried about Pippi? Have you enjoyed the soundtrack that's accompanying her very tragic and very young death? Well, that song is called Solstice by Petar Alargic. Man, he is an amazing composer of long ambient tracks. I've actually used 2 on this episode today alone. Fantastic for fantasy podcasters. Please check him out. I found him on Magnatune. I will post his info on the show notes. You can find him on Spotify. But yeah, let's get back to the action. I wonder if Pippi's okay. One quick strength check.
9.
You are all of a sudden your scarf gets caught on something, and you start to slide down, and you can't get a grip. But you manage to maintain just long enough. And the rest of you see that her scarf has slipped over Windbreaker's neck. And it's you're flapping in the wind, and you lose hold of your scarf. And you continue flying off into the distance. Oh, no. And that's all of a sudden when you feel yourself halted. And Gallitrix has a small wand pointed towards you and is bringing you back towards the boat.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, man.
My favorite man. Oh my gosh. Do I get to him? Am I just floating behind this ship?
Basically, yeah, you're kind of floating in dead space, and then
I wave my arms around to try to like swim towards him.
Yeah.
And then I just like give him the tightest hug in the known universe that a half-elf 14-year-old can give another person.
-2 strength.
-2 strength, but it's a good one.
Gallitrix seems pretty uncomfortable, and he's like, there. This happens.
No, don't let go because I might fly away again.
Don't ever let go, Jack.
This is the worst.
Don't ever let go.
Don't ever let go.
And you guys are taking off, and the boat starts to slow down enough that you guys can actually kind of get your footing. And like you see Captain Ivory walking around, and she like lifts up a Serpent Clan person's face and realizes they're dead and throws them back towards the ground. She's fairly pissed off. And she goes down into the bow of the ship and kind of leaves everyone for just a second. And Sunny says, "Wow, I've never seen her like that before."
Are you all right, little one?
I guess I'm okay. That wasn't cool, okay?
I am sorry, I don't understand magic things. It looked like he was going to kill you, and I couldn't let that happen.
He probably was, but if that's the cost next time you let it happen.
Hugs is like nodding, but secretly in his head he's just going, nope.
But she says, "Regardless, thank you." And she steps away from you, and you can see some of the crew coming up above deck, and they're looking around, and they're kind of freaked out, and there's blood just basically all over the place.
Oh.
And Gallitrix says, "Well, you know the drill. Clean this stuff up. And bring me any of their weapons if you can." And
is the greatsword that Hugs had, is that pretty much broken since he used it to brace himself? Or?
No, this bone material is pretty tough.
Huh.
Like comparable to steel at the very least.
Yeah. Hugs will bring it over to Gallitrix then.
Okay.
Gallitrix.
And yeah, he looks down at it and he's like,
No, I'm still hugging him tight.
yeah.
My eyes are closed.
He looks down at Pippi and then back at you. And he
see
says,
you are in the thralls of young love. I shall return later.
He gets a little bit flustered, but he's like, no, I'm no time for that. No time for that.
Be aware she's 14.
Not in half-elf ears.
And so for the next little while, everyone just kind of goes about in an odd silence. They're cleaning up the deck. All these serpent weapons are starting to be gathered up. Any of the dead bodies are stripped of any of the armor or the weird weapons and then thrown overboard. Unless if you guys have anything to say about it.
I want to find all the bow and arrows I can.
Okay.
Did you say bow and arrows or bone arrows? Okay.
They're called serpent arrows.
Serpent arrows.
I want to find Aileen.
Oh,
See if she's okay.
Sure.
She's like my grandma at this point.
Yeah.
I say thank you to Gallitrix one more time. I'm like, thank you so much. Oh my God, you just saved my life. I gotta go find my grandma. Bye. And I go and look for my favorite old woman.
All right, and you do find Aileen, and she's doing okay. She's a little bit shaken, but she has an odd seriousness on her face too, and she's out scanning the water trying to find these people through her scrying bowl.
Oh, cool.
And it doesn't take, maybe about 45 minutes or so passes, and dawn starts to come up over the horizon. The sun starts to come over the sea, and that's when Captain Ivory finally shows back up. She's a lot more composed, and she's like, "All right, crew, we're gonna have a debriefing. I want everyone to report to the bow of the deck as soon as possible."
What happened to the guy that she knocked out?
Oh, he's on the second deck. He's on the -1 deck.
I have a feeling that's where Captain Ivory went.
So,
Don't kill him though.
yeah. And so she heads over to the bow of the ship, and Gallytrix and Windbreaker and Sunny and kind of the elite crew, and Zephyr's there too, and you four when you're ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hugs was probably overseeing like gathering the bodies of the warriors.
Did I find any arrows?
I'm sure you did.
Sure, you managed to. I mean, most of them got away, but let's say you have 10.
But yeah, Hugs will basically just be like, they were all warriors and they fought well. They deserve a proper funeral. Although we're at sea, so that probably can't really work.
A space funeral then.
Very well.
Just send them off.
I'll do one in my head. It was beautiful.
And Sunny says, I suppose we can do the last rites for them at some point.
Yes, that works better than what I was thinking.
I'm gonna throw a blanket on the elk dude and then come back upstairs.
Okay, and he is tied up at this point.
He has a blanket on him now.
Yeah, okay. That's very nice of you.
Make sure his feet are all covered up. Like it's a cold ship. We're at sea.
And Captain Ivory is pretty just stoic at this point, and she's like, all right, I want to know everything you know. Let's go over what just happened.
We got our asses kicked.
Basically what I was thinking.
Well, if I might be so bold, the dragonborn gentleman with
Aurelius.
Yeah, that guy with the horrible chuckle and bad taste in jokes. His name is Aurelius, yes. And he said something about Pontifex Remiel?
Pontifex Remiel.
Pontifex Remiel, and I don't know what that is, but that seemed important to him. And the gentleman downstairs, his name is Simon, and he's a part of the Serpent Clan as well. And he's my best friend.
Oh, God. Did you say that?
Just so that she wouldn't kill him.
Yeah, okay, so Captain Ivory says, I think it's a fair bet that we can spare his life for now.
Okay.
For now.
But we'll see. We can definitely learn something from him at the very least. And I will take note of Aurelius and Remiel, and we'll see if we can avenge our fallen here today. I guess everyone do an insight check for me.
13.
19.
15.
Okay. So as you look around these group, you realize that like Ivory and all of them are a fairly competent crew, and some of the magic you've seen demonstrated today is pretty powerful. And you can see that perhaps Coral's mission isn't all that's going on here.
They knew about the ambush beforehand.
And but you also notice that Zephyr is pretty uncomfortable in this situation. It looks like he's kind of holding back something. But on his face, like, he's just cool. He's leaning back against the ship like just a savvy, awesome-looking rogue with gems all over his armor.
Classic sparkles.
Oh, so classic.
But he did recognize the mage dude.
Yes, a fair point, Talvar.
So, I mean, we should probably gather up all these weapons and save them for Coral. That's part of our mission, you guys.
Oh, yeah. Honestly, I forgot what our mission is.
I did too.
We gotta find these people, bring back their weapons, and see where their base is.
That's right.
Yeah.
Pippi's getting serious up in this mother because I almost died.
50% completed.
I still look like I'm about to die.
Oh, shoot.
Nonsense,
Yeah, we gotta.
Talvar.
Can we take a quick nap really quick? Because I got Song of Rest that'll heal people up a bunch.
Ivory says, all right, I guess that's enough for now. Take an hour's rest, and then I want to see you on the bottom of floor 3 at the double set of doors. You'll find them. And she walks off, and Sunny walks off with her, and Gallytrix says, oh, I guess it's one of those times again.
I thought you were going to say, oh, I guess it's her time of the month.
Oh,
No.
One of what times?
Oh,
Hugs is
Talvar.
just nodding, like pretending to know what he's talking about.
Gallytrix says, Talvar, it's not my place to say. Just go down when you can. I've got work up here.
I'm scared.
So at this point, all of you are feel free to take rests. And if there's any characters you would like to talk to aside from Ivory and Sunny, you may do so.
So Hugs will probably take Zephyr like aside and just be like, Sparkles, you fought well. I'm proud of you.
Thank you, my big friend. You fought expertly yourself.
Of course. Now, question for you. You seem to know our wizardy dark man friend elf thing.
And he looks around the deck, and there's no one in earshot, I guess, at this
Probably
point. So he says, you've got a pretty good set of peepers on you there, friend.
I pride myself on hawk-like vision, he says as like a fly buzzes in front of him and he doesn't see it.
Lands on his eye.
And he says, well, perhaps I was just a little too transparent there, huh?
I'm not sure.
Even though he's part of your party, I would like you to do a diplomacy check. With advantage because you're his friend and he likes you.
Hey, with advantage, I have 15 total.
You did it.
All right, Hugs, you can keep a secret, can't you?
I cannot. But for you, I will. Maybe.
And you can see he's deeply troubled by this.
Yeah.
And he says, all right, let's...
Is this important to you that I keep it secret?
I'll just tell you the parts that you can share.
From like a 1
Very
to 10,
well.
how important is this to be kept secret?
That man's name is Zaharan.
I will not remember this. I don't have a journal.
Am I within earshot?
All right, Zahar.
No, you went looking for the old lady.
Don't worry, it's important to Zephyr, so Hugs will remember.
Zaharan, his mind is like a steel trap.
That's right.
Yeah.
An empty steel trap.
That got set up prematurely.
So, and he says, if you want to know more about that guy, his name will be enough. I really don't want to talk about it anymore if that's okay with you.
I respect your wishes.
Thank you, my friend. Now let's go get some food.
Yes!
And I guess you guys go down to the mess hall and start to chow down.
Heck yeah.
Because after a big battle, mealtime is definitely important to boost morale.
No kidding, and health.
And health. Pippi, you use your song of rest. Is that what it's called? So you help, like, you serenade the deck, and I guess maybe the mess hall even, just
They all
with this.
fall asleep in their food. Like,
Well, I mean, it could be rest, as in like you're just relaxing. You don't have to be asleep for a
that's
short
good
rest.
to know. That's cool.
Right.
Yeah. So you play songs and try to boost people's morale, or do you just dance on the table like MC Hammer?
Oh heck yeah, hell
I
yes.
feel like she'd be dancing while playing her instrument.
Here,
Just like ding 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 ding.
Your new nickname? Jitterbug.
Oh hell yes.
So, Pippi, you have restored people's morale, or like people feel better now. You brought an air of somewhat happiness back to this ship.
Good.
Hugs is admiring some of his new scars.
Oh yeah, you probably have plenty.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I thought you said scarves. I was like, are you making scarves out of these people's clothes? What is this? What did I miss?
Their skin.
That's true. Did you ever get your scarf back from Windbreaker?
Oh yeah, it was wrapped
Just
around
let him
his
keep
neck.
it.
I mean, like, if I do have it, I'm gonna give it to him.
Okay.
I have it in my hand, but I guess I let go of it. He's wearing it, and I'm not gonna stop him.
Sure. Yeah, he's this hulking orc that now has this
Fabulous
scarf.
The thing is, all of my scarves are like handmade by the most colorful things from all the lands that I've been to.
Yes.
So he has this rainbow, beautiful, like star patterns,
I
like
love it.
yellow and purple. It's great.
It's canon, so you want a rainbow star pattern scarf?
It has every pattern imaginable on that scarf.
What's it
It's
made out of?
basically like one of those patchwork blankets.
That's right. It's
Oh,
a quilt
man.
scarf.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, can I have taken some of that rope on the ship?
The dark rope?
That cool? No, the like silk glass
Basically-
rope that's on this ship, like the cool.
Oh,
She makes her
sure.
scarves out of random material she finds on
I
her
do.
travels.
I definitely do. Yes.
Okay, yeah.
I want to
you're-
weave that into one of my scarves.
You're speaking with Aileen at some point, and she directs you to kind of an extra supply of it.
All right.
So
Voice.
it
And I
doesn't
have
break
some.
often, so they don't really need a lot of it.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I go up to Windbreaker and I'm like, you can have that one. You
And
deserved it.
he says, and takes it, and he actually like is constantly fondling the end of the scarf.
Nice.
It has like a puffball or something.
Oh god.
on it.
Yes.
Okay. This brutish man is holding this puffball at this point.
Hugs is nodding in approval.
All right. Talvar, is there anything you would like to do before you guys meet with Ivory?
I would just try to rest as much as I could. Eat,
Okay.
and then relax.
Yeah, you're
Probably play music while eating.
you're just splayed over a table or playing music, and you and Zephyr are kind of hanging out because you guys are still probably maybe the closest after your adventures back in Polestar.
Cool, right?
And I guess everyone's ready to go down to the 3rd floor and see whatever Ivory wants. So you step down, and the interior of the Alabaster is still made out of this white wood, but it's more refined, and it doesn't seem to be hardened like the shell. So there are kind of these gruesome blood stains that are all over the inside of that T-shaped corridor where you guys had executed the dude with the shield.
And the archer and the mage.
I forgot about that.
Yep. So you guys step down those stairs, and so at this T, if you go to, let's say, the right, that's where you'll kind of find Aileen's quarters, a lot of the supply rooms, and a lot of like the quarters where people sleep. And if you go left, there's a few more quarters, but that hall terminates in this big set of like golden double-setted doors. And Ivory and Sunny are both there, and they seem to be just chatting, kind of waiting for you two. Or you four, I guess. Zephyr is coming with you.
So since they were most likely not at the galley hall eating food with the rest of the crew, Hugs will have once again brought them plates of food.
Oh, okay. And what's your choice of food?
What was on the menu this time? Is the same pretty much as last time?
Lasagna.
Yeah, not a lot of long stored food because they expected this to be a short trip. So there's actually fresh meat and vegetables and fruit.
Yeah, then he probably brings the captain like a plate similar to before where it was like mostly meat stuff.
Okay.
But like for Sunny, like he brings her like more of like a bunch of stuff like a more well mixed, balanced meal kind of thing, like
Okay.
what you would give to your child.
A little sample platter,
You
right?
know, it's like it's got her protein, it's got her like vegetables, and it's got like the bread and stuff like that. He like very carefully arranged her plate.
Oh, as like a.
Like just like a you need to eat to keep up your strength
It's
kind of
in
thing.
the
Oh, I
shape
see.
of the food pyramid.
That's right.
So yeah, sure. You hand them the food, and Ivory or Sunny says, "Oh look, your friends are here." And you turn around, and then when you turn back around, they've switched plates. Do you notice?
Do you notice?
Let's see if he notices. Absolutely not.
Okay. And yeah, Ivory starts picking like at the bread and the fruits and the vegetables, and Sunny is tearing into the meat eagerly.
And Hugs is just like, I picked well.
It's perfect.
And so next to this double set doors, there's a fairly large chest that almost like a footlocker. It could hold several great swords, suits of armor, things like that. And Ivory opens it up and she says, "If you would, please put all your weapons in here for now."
Hugs will put the bone greatsword thing in there.
All right. And yeah, Ivory drops her half of her rapier in there. And Sunny puts her morning star in there.
I guess I'll put my scimitars, the bow, and the
I
arrows
guess-
in there.
Did
Put
the
my
captain
rapier
still
in my
have
short sword.
Hugs' great axe?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so she probably puts it in there for herself.
Okay, yeah. She sets that down in there. She says, "Thank you for letting me borrow that."
Hey, it was pretty badass the way you wielded that.
Ivory leans down and there's...
hang on. So when she's like doing that and everyone's put all their weapons in, Hugs like puts both of his hands into the footlocker and looks back at everyone. It's a joke, for my hands are weapons. And he's just like stupid grin, just staring over at everyone.
I'm laughing as hard as humanly possible to make Hugs feel so good about itself. It's like, that was a good one. That was so freaking funny,
Hugs
Hugs.
just takes it and puts his hands on his hips. He's just like, still got it.
That was pretty humorous. Yeah, you get a chuckle out of Sunny and the captain. And she closes the lid, and it seems to magically seal. It
Glad
takes
I
like
didn't leave my hands in there.
You would have been unarmed. All right, everybody.
And so the set of doors in front of you, you realize it has no latch, no lock, or no way to open it.
This is a bad door. Whoever built it did a bad job.
Yeah. And Ivory turns towards it and just puts her hand right in the middle of it, kind of right at the crease, and it does just kind of break and slide open.
Oh, wow. That's a good door.
Hugs like leans way down over to Pip since she's the only one that really does magic in the group, and he's like, I don't understand what just happened.
Neither do I. Let's just go with it.
Very well.
And beyond, you hear the chirping of birds. Most of like the humming starts to come from Sunny, actually. She's kind of humming some sort of hymn or something like that. And you also get the smell of like peat moss and like grass. And
Can
like,
I start playing my thing to like her hums?
Don't ruin this moment.
No, like you know how there's that slight instrument that keeps coming up in the background? I see my guy just kind of copying that, going with the religious tones that he learned when he lived in the temple in the Foxlands.
Okay.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah, you start kind of just playing along to kind of heighten the moment.
Augmenting this moment.
Yeah. And as you guys step through the doors completely, they slide back closed, and there's just a small little ramp of moss and grass, and you're not going to slide down it or anything. But you walk down, which is probably another floor into like the 4th basement, and before you is a field of grass. And there are actually like a few shrubberies around, and there are things built up into the side of the walls that act as like birds' nests. And in front of you, it's probably only about 15 feet tall or so, but is almost like a small little church that's built there across this open field. And there's like ponds and things built in here. It's almost its own complete little ecosystem down here.
Wow.
Any of you even remotely sensitive to holy magics
Hell
are
yeah.
greatly affected by this.
Oh, I was gonna.
You can roll.
to see
You
if
can
it
roll.
was. Can I roll to see if I know what any of this is?
Yeah, an arcana, sort of like a religion check.
So it's gonna be 14.
Okay. You can also use a knowledge religion if you would like, if any of you are more keen to that.
Okay.
Yeah, I got a 16.
16? Okay.
I guess 16. Yeah.
I got to 2.
Yeah. So,
Oh, I got
God,
to
it
2.
fits your character so well.
Captain Ivory starts saying, if you remember, this is the Alabaster, which was the flagship for the luminary Lucis.
That's right, the whale people.
Yeah, one of the 3 founders of the well people.
Wow, I didn't even remember that.
Oh, yeah.
I just remembered it. Mind like a steel trap.
Yeah. So, and
Lucis.
Yep. This is probably one of the Alabaster is one of probably the holiest artifacts left. You guys know that both Lucis and Animus, 2 of the luminaries, are dead. And then the 3rd is still alive, and he's ruling the whale people.
What's his name? The 3rd one?
Gratis.
Okay.
They've all kind of got that US or IS names. And she says, these plants and these birds and this temple here are all from the old world. And so please be as respectful as you can here.
What do you mean, old world?
The world the luminaries came from.
But they came by boat. Would not that be the same world?
Hugs.
I'm sorry.
These are
Yeah.
magic people that people
yeah.
worship. 2 died, so be sensitive.
Very well. Hugs like crosses his arms and tries to look as contemplative as possible.
Yes, very sensitive. I am.
I am so sensitive right now.
I care deeply.
Continue. Carry on.
This is PC Hugs, everybody.
That's right.
I, for one, hate it when small minority groups are being marginalized.
You guys walk across this field, and Ivory she keeps her voice kind of low and respectful. The way she carries herself in here is a very humble compared to her personality up top.
Hugs will try to mimic it, but probably not very well.
Okay. It's worthy to note, too, there is a moment of importance to this. And you guys are led into this temple. And actually, there's a stream that runs inside the temple and out the other side. And fixated in this middle of this temple is just a small little pool. And it's got this crystal that just glows in there. and it has a perpetual orange sort of glow to it. And so
wow.
inside it's a stone floor, and there are these little cloth pads that you can kneel down on. And so Ivory takes her seat at like the lead one, Sunny next to her, and the other ones in sort of a meditative stance around this gem.
I'm going to take a wild guess and say the Hugs is probably much too large for these little pads on the ground. So
It's a fair assumption.
It's probably like when a dog that's too big tries to like get into a dog bed, or like when a cat tries to fit into a cardboard box.
Okay.
She's probably circling around it a couple of times and trying to get down on it.
Okay.
I would go into a meditative stance for it with it.
I'm just going to be a spectator because I respect their religion, but I don't believe in it.
So, I mean, you see Zephyr take to it, and he keeps looking over at Ivory and mimics her posture perfectly. Talvar, do you take sort of your meditative stance versus their meditative stance? And Hugs is sort of like has one butt cheek on it. He's like kind of
Taken up too, kind of.
It's kind of, just looks real ungraceful.
And Pippi's gonna stand behind.
I'm gonna sit this one out. I'll just hang out and enjoy the scenery.
You can see that Captain Ivory takes notice, but leaves it be. She says, "The reason I've brought you down here is I want you to remember, no matter what kind of darkness you're going to be facing in the future, just remember what you fight for. Our goal here is to spread peace throughout the world and not violence, despite what has happened here."
Hugs has a little smirk on his face, like
we all just kind of snicker.
I just need you to know that I am here to support you no matter what is going to happen in the coming days. I hope you'll just sit and meditate with me for a while and reflect on this.
All right, I'll give in and kind of just scooch in, find a seat while everyone has their eyes closed.
Doubt that Hugs could probably maintain much of a meditative position for very long. He probably tries and closes his eyes for a second, but always keeps opening one eye and looking around at everyone else.
Yeah.
Like a kid at Thanksgiving.
Exactly.
Is Sunny still humming, or did that stop a while ago?
Oh, she has stopped. Yeah.
Okay.
He's still playing though.
It's a breathing thing when you can't really do it well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you are left with just the sound of kind of bubbling water and birds and Hugs occasionally reshifting.
A lot of blinking noises from Hugs.
And you guys have still been really impacted by seeing whatever that gruesome thing being dragged through the water was. And that's been burned into your mind and kind of haunting you since then. But you receive a moment of peace down here. And whatever is happening, it doesn't seem to just be internal. You genuinely feel impacted by being in this area and being near this gem and with Captain Ivory and Sunny. And I think that's where we're going to end for the day.
Nice.
Oh, and by the way, all of you level up to level 4.
Oh, shoot! Whoa! Pew, 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 pew!
Completely skipped level 3.
Yeah.
Hot diggity. Oh my gosh. Yes. Okay. Okay. Yeah, right?
Hey guys, thanks again for listening to Reforged Podcast.
Please make sure to rate, subscribe, upvote, all that good stuff on all of our social media.
And please make sure to leave us a review. We've already gotten a number and they've been really great. We're going to try and get a list together and start reading them on the show or something, because we want to make sure that everybody gets to kind of be a part of it. And we just really appreciate you guys leaving those reviews.
Absolutely. And we just love hearing from you guys in general. Mm-hmm. So please join the community. You can find us on Twitter at Reforged Staff. Additionally, if you want to just find me, Austin Rasmussen, you can find me on Twitter at Trenchmaker.
And if you want to find me, Zoe Shane, you can find me on Twitter at Zoe with Umlaut.
And if you want to find me, Ian Early, I'm on Twitter at Brother Tortoise.
And if you want to find me, I'll be in bed.
Sleepy tie.
Bye. We'll see you guys next Friday. Have a great weekend.